If you were given a budget of $100 and the goal of being to buy a Nintendo Entertainment System, some controllers, cords, and some great games, what would you get? Hey Nintendo fans and collectors, Lithium here from my channel Nintendo Collecting, and this is another entry into my starter guide series. I already have starter guides out for the Super Nintendo, for the N64, and for the Gamecube, although they are a few years old. You can check them out in the top right-hand corner of the video as a card. The Nintendo Entertainment System in 2019 is a system that a lot of people are trying to get their hands on, and the price is slowly going up over time. All of my prices are listed in US dollars. They were found from pricecharting.com or eBay completed listings, and everything is without the box and manual, because with the box and manual and inserts, we are usually doubling, if not tripling, the value of these items, and I'm trying to keep the cost as low as possible so that someone new to collecting can get into this system. I think a good price for this system, 2 controllers and working cords, is around $50 US. You might be able to even do better than that depending on where you're looking and how lucky you are. I really, though, suggest that you test the system ahead of time with several of the games that you're interested in, unless you can actually test every single game that you're buying, but also test the 2 controllers. You want to make sure that the D-pad and the A and B buttons have really good response time, and although maybe not as important, the start and select buttons should definitely be in working condition as well. You can clean them, but you can't absolutely alter them into something that is working when they're in non-working condition. Another heads up is that you should definitely pay attention to the cords that you're getting. You should be able to get an AC adapter that's officially made by Nintendo. This is the thing that powers it on. And you can get the connector for the console to connect it to the TV. The original one is called this RF switch, but it deals with this sort of connector to TVs that some of them don't even have anymore, so you might want to have your eyes open for one that comes with the 3 different colors so you can connect to a more modern television. Now there are different peripherals, but the system usually feels at its best when you're playing on an original CRT TV, but you can play this on an HD TV. Just be aware there might be some input lag. After we spend the $50 on this system, we're going to want to get some of the best games. And like I said, these are cartridge only. The first game that I think every system must come with, and you might actually get this thrown in for $50, is Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. Now, I didn't get the Zapper Gun this time around. You might have it thrown into the bundle for $50, and if you do, that's really fortunate, but I'm going to hold on to the Zapper Gun for a future video. The Duck Hunt game, essentially, you're shooting ducks, but you have to be playing on a CRT TV, and there's also a disc shooting game in that, but more on that later, hopefully in a future episode. But Super Mario Bros. Is a cult classic for a reason. A lot of people say that this game, and this system in particular, saved the gaming industry, but that's up for a different debate. But I can tell you that this game really holds up well in 2019. A lot of people still speedrun this, and they're bringing the record down lower and lower at a 455 right now, for any of you speedrunner enthusiasts out there. The game features power-ups, 8 worlds. I really love playing this and trying to speedrun it myself, and even just trying to beat it in sub 6 minutes is pretty fun. I only put a $5 price point on this game. It's one of the most common video games out there. Following that, though, I am sticking with Mario for one more game this video around, and that's probably one of the best 2D Mario games all time, and it might be the best game on the NES. This is Super Mario Bros. 3. This game did everything that Super Mario Bros. 1 did and made it even better. The overworld is better. The worlds are better. There's more worlds. There's better power-ups. There's more enemies. I love the Koopa Kid inclusion, and there's a lot of diversity in this game, and even warps if you're looking to get through this game as fast as possible. It's highly replayable, it's a lot of fun with friends, and this game only has a price point of $10. This brings our total from $50 to $55 to $65. We've still got $35 more left to spend. Next up is another one of the best games in its series, and this is another one that started it all, the original Legend of Zelda. This is the gold cartridge. If you want to get the gray cartridge, it's usually actually a little bit more expensive, so have your eyes out for that one. But I think the gold cartridge is just a lot more cool anyways to have in your collection. This game is like a fantasy RPG action. It combines a lot, but what you need to know is you play as Link, not Zelda. You're going through an overworld trying to face bosses and dungeons, unlock more and more as you make your way towards the end game, and when you beat it, you get a second quest as well. This game is very difficult, and it's definitely what Breath of the Wild's open world was based off of, so I think most people should go back to the past and play this original game for The Legend of Zelda. That one I put a price point of $15. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little less, but I think $15 is pretty fair. It looks like we have about $30 left. I'm hoping to get 3 more games out of this. And next up is Metroid. This is also one of the first games on the system. It's the first game in the series, I should say. This one includes space pirates that essentially, I think, kidnap Metroids. They're trying to replicate them, use them as biological weapons to take down anyone who opposes them, and Samus Aran is the main protagonist in this game. It's a little bit more difficult to play through this, I find, than playing through Super Metroid, but it's still a fantastic entry. I only list this at $12. If someone's charging you much more than that, they're probably trying to rip you off. Anything over $15 is definitely too high for this as a cartridge-only game. That leaves us with, I think, $18 left to spend. Another one of the original games of all time for its series, this is Final Fantasy. Now, one of my best friends is going through the Final Fantasy series, and he's trying to collect all of them. He really wants to get into playing every single one in order at some point, and this one, neither of us have really played that much. Apparently, this follows 4 youths. They're called the Light Warriors. They're basically trying to bring back or take down the elemental fiends, I think, and restore light to their orbs, but I need to get into this game more and more. I think with save states, there's maybe better ways to play this game, but you definitely need to play this on the original system. I also put this at a price point of $12, but the prices are slowly going up over time, but pay attention to this one because it's definitely a gem on the system. Last up, because that one cost $12, it looks like we only have $6 left to spend of our $100. And with this game, I bring you Excitebike. This one is actually pretty fantastic and makes me smile even in 2019. Again, there's more releases that are out there more recently, and this did kickstart its own series. But this is a motocross racing game that you have 3 different modes in. You can play alone, play against players, but you can also create your own custom tracks and then fight them in one of the first 2 modes that I mentioned, either alone or against other players. This is an extremely fun game to create your own tracks for, and I really wish more games had your own creation editor like Super Mario Maker and Link's Awakening, but this is one of the first games to have it all the way back in 1985 as a release game for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and at only $6, you can't go wrong. I highly recommend you pick up this black box cartridge game for your collection. So there you have it. That's what I would spend my first $100 on for the NES Starter Guide. I have it $50, the Nintendo Entertainment System, $5 for Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, $10 for Super Mario Bros. 3, $15 for the Gold Cart of Legend of Zelda, $12 each for Metroid and Final Fantasy, and then $6 more for Excitebike. Make sure you check the system, make sure you check the controllers and the cords, and make sure everything is in working order. And comment below, what would you buy with $100 for the Nintendo Entertainment System? Pay attention to part 2, which will be coming out soon. And comment below, what is your favorite Nintendo Entertainment System game of all time? Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to fill that like bucket. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers. We're pretty close. And remember, as always, go collect them all and keep smiling while gaming. Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out those other starter videos as cards up in that top right corner.